I will note that only 2 people did register for the meeting tonight, and one of them is the proponent, Christina Hill. So just waiting to see if they'll be joining us in the attendance section.
Sorry, I can't figure it out. So if it's okay with you guys, I'm going to stay blank.
All right, your choice. And there's Mr. Ingalls, right on the button.
As always.
Oh my, I'm just waiting for my clock to tick up to 7. Yep, there it is. All right, so it is 7 o'clock, and welcome to the June meeting of the Planning Advisory Committee for the town of St. Andrews. Welcome, everyone.
Welcome.
And should be a very brief meeting this evening. One item on the agenda, and speaking of the agenda, could I get a motion to approve that agenda? Mr. Cross moves, and seconder Councillor Heenan. Okay, whoops. Make a note of that, and all those in favor signify by raising your hands.
Aye.
And there we are, unanimously declared. Does anyone have any conflict of interest in the matter before us this evening?
Negative.
All right. So that brings us to the minutes of our May meeting. I'm assuming you've had a chance to review those. Does anybody have any issue to take with those minutes, first of all?
Nope.
If not, I'll look for a motion to approve those as presented.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Vice Chair Ms. Stewart. Seconder Ms. Councillor Heenan. If you're ready for the question, all those in favor of adopting those minutes as presented signify by raising your hand. And everybody is so declaring. All right, that motion is passed. So that brings us to our agenda items, and the first and only one is a variance application under the signage regulation of the zoning bylaw. And you have the information there on your sheet. And Ms. Hung, you are the planner in charge of this particular file, so I will turn things over to you for your presentation.
Sounds good. Thank you, Mr.
Hello,
Chair.
kitty cat.
Oh, sorry. It's photo bombing. Let me share my PowerPoint. Yeah, he's actually the planner on this file.
Ah, well,
Full
that's
disclosure.
why. Just making
Yeah.
sure due credit is given.
Yes.
Exactly. All right. So, as introduced by the chair, we have a variance application today. It is a very straightforward file. Item number PAC 220601. This variance application is for property, the property at 25 Princess Royal Street. It is owned by Christina Hill. She also owns the residential property right next to it. You can see the subject property on the zoning map. It's marked by a yellow star. This property is zoned mixed use, and it is also in the town plat. So a mixed use zone is, as the name suggests, allows a mixture of different uses, including both residential and commercial. And what's being requested here is a new fascia sign for a bookstore. So a new fascia sign for a commercial use. This is not allowed by the current version of the zoning bylaw. Hence, we are considering a variance application today. And an interesting piece of information for your consideration is that the current version of the zoning bylaw doesn't allow a fascia sign for a commercial building in a mixed use zone, but it does allow a fascia sign for a residential building in the same zone. So logically, there's a little bit of inconsistency in that. So in my background, I mentioned that a administrative amendment may be required in the future to address this inconsistency. And when we consider a variance application, the town of St. Andrews zoning bylaw does offer some thinking points for PAC. The first thinking point is that PAC shall consider the dominance of the sign in relation to the building the sign is to be erected on. Number two, PAC shall consider whether the sign is out of scale in context to the surrounding buildings and other signage in the area. Number 3, PAC shall consider the impact on the architectural features of the building and surrounding built environment. Number 4, PAC shall consider the impact of illuminated signage on the surrounding land uses. And last but not least, PAC shall consider whether the proposed signage may potentially impact pedestrian and vehicular movement. And we can see the proposed sign on the actual picture of the building in the background over here. It's a relatively small sign compared to the size of the building. And the size of the sign actually complies with fascia sign standards, should PAC allows it to be put on the building. Because it's a smaller sign, it fits well in the central commercial areas on the adjacent Water Street and Princess Royal Street area. And because it's not too large, it should not be disturbing the residential features on the other side of Princess Royal Street either. And the design of the sign, as we can see, is pretty consistent with the overall look of the building. So it should not be disturbing the architectural feature either. And to make sure that this sign is as compatible as possible with the surrounding areas, staff does offer 2 recommended terms and conditions. And as you can see on this slide over here, staff recommends the Planning Advisory Committee of the Town of St. Andrews approve the variance application to allow a fascia sign to be erected at 25 Princess Royal Street, subject to the following terms and conditions. Number 1, this fascia sign shall not be illuminated. This is considering the residential properties on the street, because it's a mixed use zone, it's not a full commercial zone, so we have to be considerate of that. The second condition is that this fascia sign shall be constructed of wood or long-lasting synthetic product which simulates the properties and appearances of wood and may be painted or rooted and painted, or consist of cut out wooden letters affixed to a board, and may include a symmetrical ornamental border or framing piece around the perimeter. It's a mouthful, but it's a requirement straight from the zoning bylaw that will apply to all signs in St. Andrews. All right, that's all from me, and I'm open for questions and comments.
Certainly. Okay, members of the committee, do we have any questions for the planner? I am hearing nothing. All right, so at this point, then we can go to any comments from the applicant, who I believe Mr. Knopper is with us this evening.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I'm actually seeing nobody in our attendance section, although we did receive a message, I'll note, from Dirk Hensley about taking notes on this. But other than that, I don't see anyone in attendance at this point in time.
Oh, okay. Well, that's that then. So we can skip right down to the motion phase here. Is somebody prepared to move the motion as recommended by the planner or a variant thereof? Mr. Simmons. And a seconder.
Second.
Mr. Cross. Is there any discussion on this matter? Crickets. Okay.
Straightforward.
Very
If,
straightforward.
if you're ready for the question, all those in favor of the motion signify by raising your hand.
Aye.
Contrary minded, if any, and there are none, because all the hands went up. The motion is carried unanimously, and that is that. Okay. With that being the only item on the agenda, that skips us right down to closing items. And Mr. Knopper, perhaps you'd be prepared to again make your remarks on what's going to be happening on the 29th as far as that special meeting is concerned.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So just a note, PAC, we will be having a special meeting on the 29th. It is to address a building permit variance application. So this is in regards to Joan Tennant, who is requesting a shed on an undersized lot. There will be a staff report that will come from planners. The purpose of the shed, just so you know, is actually to house closed-in mobility scooter that will allow her to actually get through town, as she does have several health issues that pertain to a lack of movement. So this would actually give her the ability to get out and freely move through town safely and store her new mobility unit. So that's what's coming forward to PAC. I will also note council may be moving an opinion or to obtain views for PAC on another topic in regards to a license variation for liquor permits for the char and chowder. So council still has to review that on Monday night, but it could be coming as well to that. So just to be aware, that's what's coming forward.
All right,
Back to you,
thank you very much. Does anybody else have anything they wish to bring forward?
And
If-
sorry, can I just ask, why are we doing that in 2 weeks' time and not in the next cycle?
Yeah.
Through you, Mr. Chair, for the Miss Tennant, it's actually in regards to that she could actually get started in having the shed built almost immediately. The builder is in town doing a couple of other projects, and this would just expedite it if PAC is willing to discuss it. The other item is actually time sensitive, as there was a situation in regards to the particular business and having their another license revoked due to a differentiation. And Mr. Cross, I apologize. It's from the fire marshal's office. There was a position on this.
That
So,
fire marshal gets into everything.
so
The other-
that's
It's the other side of my office, not me.
so just in regards to that, there is a business economic development pressing matter on that if council wishes to bring the obtained views. So that's why if that second item is added, it would be to that. But the main purpose of the special meeting is to expedite the discussion on the shed for Ms. Tennant.
So as you see, PAC does have to maintain a certain degree of flexibility in these matters, because some people do get caught up in things. All right, with that, then I will declare this meeting at an end, and thank you very much for your attendance, and we'll see you on the 29th.